Welcome back to Nick Lenz's Comic Corner, Classic, Classic, Non-Classics. This is episode number 1375. And Doubleshot number 1269. Yes, 1375. That's interesting. Which makes this episode 25 episodes away from hitting the 14th episode of the series. Which is awesome. Now, for this one, I'm discussing two DC trades. First up, this isn't one of those essential editions. This is basically essential edition for JLA New World Order. Yep, this collects the very first 9 issues of the JLA series, which was initially written at the time by Grant Morrison. Yep, it also includes JLA Secret Files number 1. Yep. Now, Grant Morrison is the writer of everything pretty much in here. Yeah, he is writer of pretty much everything. With also Mark Millar doing some co-writing. The artwork is done by 2 people, Howard Porter and Oscar Jimenez. Great people. The cover art is done by Howard Porter and Brian Miller. Yep. Now, one thing interesting that I got to point out about the first few issues, they're all named after old horror movies. Oh yes, definitely. Like, take for example the very first issue. It's called Them. Which, that is a movie from the 1950s, which that was interesting. Yes, it's not the only one. Oh yeah, not the only one. There's also issue 2, The Day the Earth Stood Still. That's a nod to these basically old nods to the 50s horror. Well, that was 50s horror, well, 50s sci-fi. Yeah, this is another nod to 50s sci-fi. Yep. And issue 3 is called War of the Worlds, another 50s movie. Yeah, one thing I also got to point out, though, about these issues is that when they show off the characters' logos, in case you're curious, though, about these logos, yeah, that's the logos each of these books had when they were published back in the 1990s. Yep. And the first version logo they show off in this book is, let's see if we can find it here, is Wonder Woman. And, of course, you have Aquaman, which that was the logo we had at that point. Flash, Green Lantern. Oh, by the way, this is the Kyle Rayner Green Lantern. This is the Wally West Flash. Yes, I should point out, though, that this basically lineup is quite different from basically normal lineup for Justice League. It's mostly consisted of the founding member of Justice League. Well, mostly anyways, but with a few replacements per se. We have Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, Aquaman. They're also there. Martian Hunter. The only ones they replaced was basically Green Lantern and the Flash. Originally, what was it? Not Kyle Rayner. This one here is Kyle Rayner. It was Hal Jordan was the one who was the first Green Lantern to join this team. And the Flash here is, of course, Wally West, who is technically the third person that held the mantle. Yep. And they also had Connor Hawke who joined these issues, which that was an interesting idea. Yes, Connor Hawke. This was probably like not long after that Green Arrow got killed off in issue 101. Yes. And, well, the reason for that was because it was editorial mandate. Yep. Now, this basically is a relaunch of Justice. The previous league title was Justice League America. That was the name of the series. And the issue 113. Excuse me. Yep. So, they pretty much have the original time reunite, and this is basically pretty much a back to basics style of storytelling when it comes to Justice League. You have the original 7 joined by, well, they have Aztec joining the roster, which that's interesting, and they also have, well, Connor Hawke, aka Green Arrow, and they get a new headquarters. And for the first time since the early 80s, because it's been at this point like over a decade since they've been headquartered in space with the original JLA Secret Sanctuary. Here, the JLA are based on the moon with their watchtower, which, yes, that's also the name of the space station they used in the Justice League animated series from the early 2000s. Yes, and by the way, the line was heavily inspired by this, though they swapped out Kyle Rayner with John Stewart, and they swapped out Aquaman for Hawkgirl. Is Hawkgirl in here? No. No, she isn't. It's mostly a team coming together and just deal with various super threats. At one point here, you see that Superman is replaced by Superman Blue. You're probably thinking, why the heck is Superman Blue here? That was something going on in the Superman comics at that point. And from what I've heard, it was not that good. It was a mixedly received story when it came out. From what I heard, a lot of people didn't like it at all, and it didn't last very long. And it only lasted maybe like a year, and then he went back to basically regular Superman. Yep. I gotta admit, this is a great start for this particular book. New World Order, great book. I love all the setup in here where the team comes together, get a new base in the moon, which is great. By the way, they actually put it right, it was actually just, the way it looks in here, it looks like just a few miles from where Neil Armstrong basically planted, I think it was near Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin, I'm not sure which one it is, where they planted the U.S. flag on the moon, which I thought that was so cool. Yep. Good start for this particular run. Give this book a 9.5 out of 10. Yes, and here's the strange thing about this. Yeah, you have the issue 9. Okay. Exactly 32 issues later, Grant Morris ends his run for the book. Yeah, he leads the book at issue 41. He's one of several writers in this book. I think he was briefly replaced by Mark Waid. Yeah, I think Mark Waid came next. And then I think the longest writer came after was Kurt Busiek, who had a pretty lengthy run of the book. Yep. Alright, moving on to a different book. This one also features the Justice League. This is Dark Knight Death Metal, the Darkest Night. Yep, this contains the one-shots that tied into the action event. Yes, a boatload of one-shots. Yeah, that's something interesting, though, about Dark Knight Metal. Yeah, a bunch of one-shots and just one ongoing series tied into this, and that was Justice League. Yep, the writers of these one-shots are quite interesting. Now, someone basically did write the original one, like Scott Snyder, James Tynion, Josh Williams, and Peter Tomasi. Nothing new for those guys. And, of course, Frank Thierry as well. We also had Christopher Priest, one of these stories. Chip Zdarsky, Felt Allah, who was the current writer for New Mutants. Becky Cohen, Margaret Bennett, Garth Ennis. Yes, Garth Ennis is here. Oh, and fun fact about Garth Ennis, I believe it was his character, Hitman. He pops up here, too, to ask to turn just like they get turned down. And also Daniel Warren Johnson. Not really familiar with the guy. The artists on here, this is a lot of artists. Francis Manapult, Eddie Burrows, Juan Gideon, Tony S. Daniel, Doug Mankey, Riley Rosero, Ed Rosillo, Francesco Francavilla, great artist by the way, Color Froth, Dan Prushin, Jamal Geek, Julie Jones, Becky Cohen, Becky Cohen was writing artist, Daniel Warren Johnson, Ebar Ferreira, and Jamie Madiza. Yep. The cover art for this trade here is done by Tony S. Daniel and Tommy Mori. Tommy, I believe, is the colorist. Yes. Yeah, these are put like the in-between stories of the main series. Like, for example, one of the primary characters of these one-shots is Jonah Hex. You're probably thinking, Jonah Hex. How is he involved with this? Well, he was resurrected as a zombie. And apparently Harley Quinn had a crush on him. Yeah, at one point, she actually kissed him on the cheek and like, you realize there's no cheek there. He's like, I don't care. Yep, very heavily implied Harley Quinn maybe develop an attraction to a freaking zombie. Though it's Jonah Hex, mind you. And then Jonah Hex gets destroyed. Yeah, his corpse gets destroyed here. Interesting to see Jonah Hex here. Maybe that was something that Frank Thierry basically wrote in. Yep. Now there's various one-shots in here. We have Legends of Dark Knights, the guidebook, Trinity Crisis. This one featured Superboy Prime pop in the book. Speed Metal. This one's a one-shot done by Josh Williams. Featured like a lot of the flashes. This is a briefly visit DC Rebirth, which I thought was really cool. A lot better handled than what they did in Heroes in Crisis and Multiverses End. Yep. Yeah, basically have the various basically an army of Batman. Well, basically Batman's army of superheroes take on the Batman Who Laughs in these tie-in books, which is so cool. And the fact that the world of the Dark Multiverse, basically mostly the home world of the Batman Who Laughs, it is so well developed. Yeah, they even developed the backstory for one of the Robins, where apparently he's actually a kid Bruce Wayne, where he kills his parents, and then basically fangs Integris, and he basically like really wants his parents' money that badly. And then it was pointed out by Alfred, well, you do have the money, but you can't legally touch it until you're 18. And then, of course, Jim Gordon pays a visit And then, of course, this evil Bruce Wayne becomes one of the evil Robins. Yes, I thought that was interesting. Like, okay, so they turned Kid Bruce Wayne into a Robin. My only guess is that's probably a nod to an old Golden Age story. Yes, there was actually a Golden Age story. I think it was Golden Silver Age book. I'm not sure which one it was. Where Bruce Wayne, before he became Batman, he was actually the first, like, unofficial Robin. I'm not kidding about that. That actually happened. It's surprising, though, Grant Morrison does anything with these one-shots. Unlike with the previous film, Grant Morrison wrote one of these things. This time, no, he didn't. I thought that was kind of surprising. Mm-hmm. Yep. But these one-shots are fantastic. They're so freaking good. Great artwork, great storytelling, all these awesome writers and artists. I give this book a 10 out of 10. It's really good. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Okay, so that's it for particular review. Next view is going to be The Hidden Dungeon Like an Enter. Excuse me. And then finally, case closed. Yeah, I'm actually going to save My Hero Academia for tomorrow. Yeah. But see you next video. Bye.